Okay, there we go, recording started. Ugh, didn't mean to be away for so long, you know how it is. Low energy levels and all that. But I'm here. I definitely didn't stream a couple days ago, you know. I definitely didn't try to play Minecraft there. That didn't happen, that would be absurd. And, I mean, clearly there's no VOD up on YouTube, so, you know, clearly nothing remains. Don't go look at the Twitch VODs. Okay, so I'm not quite sure where we were. It's been a bit. I feel like I stopped before, like, a sizable scene or something. No, I didn't. I did, like, the sizable scene before. With, like, the love battle thing and, like, the whole intro of that. But there's more of that, of course. Okay, let's see. Rosa could be seen in the parlor. Why is chat not showing up, by the way? Hold on. I opened Mix It Up beforehand, right? Probably? Oh, I didn't log in all the way. Well, oh well. Chat's only gonna be in chat today, sorry. I would have to close OBS, close the stream, stop the recording, restart the recording and all that. Sorry, deal with it. No chat on screen today. My bad. I knew something was up during the intro because it's supposed to show up then. I've said it before, but it's because I need to like click like 3 times to actually boot fully into Mix It Up, which is the like chat overlay and like funny redeem thingy. But I didn't do it. Rosa could be seen in the parlor. Jessica killed Kitty, yeah, right through the door and all that. The relatives apparently all wanted to be alone after dispersing partial break. We can check the body count real quick. No, we can't because no one's found them yet. Since everyone avoided the parlor, the one place where people would normally gather, Rosa was able to have this relaxing, comforting room all to herself. That didn't mean she looked relaxed. Her expression was heavy with gloom and weariness. The cup of black tea that she had brought from the dining hall had gone cold. ... A pleasant silence. Now that no one was in sight, Rosa's heart finally awoke. She was always treated like a kid in the conferences with her 3 siblings. She had no influence at all. But, possibly because of that, she was apparently considered to be a neutral party. The siblings would often ask for her agreement, sometimes even treating her like a referee or a judge. How did Christmas go, by the way? Alright, Brown. I got, like, clothes, candy. That's pretty much it, but, like, that's kind of fine, honestly. Like, I don't really like any games I need. Like, I got a nice new Christmas shirt here. Like, a pack of shirts. I got some nice long sleeve shirts. Got some pants, some socks. I bought myself underwear because getting gifted underwear as an adult is weird, and I don't really want that unless it's like a romantic partner. In which case, fine. I had over to my parents' house for dinner, and I think I had shrimp. I usually have shrimp on holidays. I like shrimp. They're good. I avoid eating out at restaurants specifically because I hate the wait. It's just not worth it for, like, food that is, depending on the restaurant, arguably not even better than fast food. I don't know. Like, I'd rather go to Five Guys or something and get one of their burgers instead of, like, waiting a half an hour and having to, like, tip someone and all that. It's just not worth it. I have to make use of that and turn the discussion in the direction I want. I had to find almost 100 million yen by March. That was supposed to be my great commitment, a burden I bore to help support that man's business. Now, I'm not sure anymore. If I can pay off my debt, will he call me again? Don't make me laugh. Even if you do contact me after all this time, I'll be the one to refuse. But still, you're Maria's father. Please come and see her, if only just once. That is quite a difficult thing to stick to, isn't it? Huh? Who? The note should have been in the parlor. Someone suddenly spoke to Rosa, and she jumped. Just when did he get there? Cannon could be seen standing there. Now, remember, Jessica and George had done their love trials, but Cannon, Shannon, and Beatrice have not. Looks like this might be Cannon. His turn. And, of course, the love trial is just pick a person and kill them. So, there's that. Even considering that she'd been to even thought, to think that she hadn't noticed him at all. You startled me. I'm sorry, I guess I was thinking so hard that I didn't notice you. Do you need something? No. The reason you are currently in pain is because of love, Rosa-sama. Am I wrong? That's sudden. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Moriya-sama's father wanted you to be the co-signer on a loan, and you accepted, Rosa-sama. What a troublesome kid. You were listening to Krauss Nielsen from the hallway, weren't you? True. Earlier this day, in this very room, Krauss had seen through to the fact that Rosa was bearing a massive debt because she'd become a co-signer on a loan. Being a co-signer on a loan is not a good thing. Kaiji taught me that. So anime, that's an entire 2-season anime born from a guy co-signing a loan. Bad call. However, he hadn't said that her partner had been Maria's father. Why did Kennen know so much? Smart kid. You were a very wise person, Rosa-sama. You wouldn't have become a co-signer without thinking carefully about the consequences. I hadn't yet moved to his family register, but I thought of the man I would soon marry as my partner. If he couldn't borrow the money without my name, I figured that helping him out was my responsibility as his future wife. Did that future ever come? No, it hadn't. So afterwards, Rosa was always alone, and Maria never had a father. However, time moved on. Nothing changed, except that Maria, who should have been a symbol of their union, just kept growing like a living hourglass, measuring the length of the hell Rosa had crawled through. Because of that, Maria's growth hurt. It's ironic. I tried to forget that man several times, but you know, forgetting him doesn't get rid of that debt. It was only natural. That's why she had to forget her love and do all she could to pay that money back. But you know, I also think of it this way. If I can manage to pay everything off, it'll mean that I passed the trial of love that he gave me. I'll have to pay off my debt anyway, so how can I abandon my reward, the level gainer as a result, before it's over? What love? Is it really so wrong to put off thinking about that until after I paid off my debts? I think I just got some of that in my eye. Ow. It may have been a trick of words that only those who have suffered through love could understand. Even Rosa was vaguely aware of the possibility that she'd been deceived. However, if she was able to succeed in paying back the loan, he might acknowledge her usefulness as a wife. When that happened, she might be able to regain that love. And if she abandoned that love, this debt, this trial that he would given her, would become completely meaningless. Yes, for her, the debt itself appeared to be a trial of love. Actually, the very fact that she had tried to view it that way might have been the blindness of love, proof that she was still bound by her regrets and obsessed with the past. That pain still continued within her. At the very least, it would remain until she paid back that massive loan. And even then, it would take quite some time before she'd be able to lay her feelings for him to rest. Could this be that hell Kiria-sama spoke of? I see. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but there's no doubt that my world has been hell through and through. And how can that be put to an end? Who knows? If anyone did, no one would ever be crushed by the disease of love. That disease is a serious one. Sometimes eats into a person for their entire life, spreading out to and hurting the people closest to them. That disease was torturing her now as much as it ever had. They're being sure to go into Rosa a lot, like... I think that's because of her unique dynamic with Maria. Therefore, we see her do, like, a lot of really bad stuff, but... Well, I'm still not gonna feel too sympathetic for her. She's kind of delusional here. Oh, the lengths that some therapy for these people would have really helped. But that was probably different back then, like everything. Well, since you bring up Kiria-san, her story is like a wish or a dream to me. Though she had her man stolen from her, she persevered for 18 years. She never felt the despair, and instead continued to support Rudolph, keeping her head down and waiting for a miracle. Maria is still 9 years old. I've only waited as long as the first half of Kiria's 18 years. If I gave up after just this, she would laugh at me. Do you think a miracle will occur within 9 years? If I doubt that, it's all over. In a sense, I'm a ghost. I'm already dead. I'm just living on without noticing. A ghost waiting for eternity for a person who will never come. That's right. That day, when I naively said that I wanted to support his dream, I was probably already dead. I guess that really was a regretful day in the end. I have dreams. I want to go overseas. I'll fly out of this tiny country, make it big, and come back to you. That takes me back. At that time, I thought of lovers as a pair of people willing to acknowledge each other's radical dreams. That's why he would always happily cheer me up by talking about how I'd become a successful designer, traveling to Paris to release a new line and getting jostled by the press. When I think about it, I really had my head in the clouds during that strange time. We both lifted the other up, as though we were drifting about in the air. So, when he said that he wanted to get out of Japan, I applauded him and promised to support him. Acknowledging each other's great dreams with nothing but words is a classic sort of pillow talk between lovers. However, when it comes to actually carrying them out, you need to be more serious and calculating. For a long time, I felt proud of letting him go on that day. No, I still do. But you still regret it. That's right. If I had sobbed and told him to stop on that day, I might have not fallen into hell. Seeing him off with a smile was my victory? Of course not. It's as though I lost by default by refusing to fight when the time came. I only glorified that loss, saw him off with a smile as he went to take on the world overseas, and he became intoxicated with the illusion that I was some brave woman waiting patiently for her man's return with her daughter. Even though I didn't get a single call from him, and mail sent to the address he'd given me came back, forwarding address unknown. I'm really glad I didn't have a kid before my divorce. My life would be very, very, very different now. It'd be difficult enough. Depression sucks. This is hell. In this hell, I'll regret not fighting when I should have until the day I die. I've even dragged my daughter into it. I wish someone would just kill me. Oh, could happen. I want to be told that I've already been killed, that I'm a ghost. In love, if you do not fight, you have to crawl through hell. Yes, love is a fight. Will you win and gain, or lose and die? But please, have no fear of death. After all, it's a peaceful sleep. What's truly terrifying is the hell where you find the unsleeping ghosts of those who couldn't win, yet couldn't die. I don't think Rosa ever legally got married. I think she's technically single. I think they may have been engaged. I think that was it. I'm not sure, actually. Let me go look. Well, there's a nice typo on the wiki page that says, as the youngest Ushida woman and the only one without and husband to support her. But no, she's not married. Nope. Doesn't seem that way. I don't know if they got engaged or not. Let's see. Sounds like she's gotten engaged several times. Sounds like she just hops from guy to guy. I'm not sure how much of that is really shown directly. I don't know if she was engaged to Maria's father or not. That hell has no end. The battle of love is cruelest for those who never even fought, but weren't able to die either. So in love, you've got to make it or break it. Dying in battle like that is liberating. They say the most torturous toxin for humans is made from love grown stale. The suffering it brings, it seeds the tortures the most twisted hells. She used this knowledge to try and embolden her double and little sister, encouraging her to take on any trial no matter how fierce. I understand. After all, when my desire to have Battler Sun accept me one day wells up in my chest, I can feel the seed that resides there. It is up to me to kill that seed or make it bud. However, if I let it rot here in my chest, that poison will surely torment me forever. And that is the most fearsome torture in the world, even for us 1,000-year-old witches. See what happens to those who make light of love, this hell of roses, is what happens to those who do not possess the courage to make that seed of love bud, and instead allow it to rot. One cannot end that pain by their own hands. Meatball's throat. Looks like Cannon's gonna do the thing. Yeah. Just now, was that a red light? Pardon me. Huh? What? Just now, I thought I saw something strange. Wonder if I'm tired. It's probably just my imagination. Rosa picked up her cup of cold tea. When she did, she saw a small, red rose petal float to the surface. A rose? She's already dead. I've heard that, in your youth, you loved to lie on that sofa. It wasn't a rose petal. It was a drop of blood that had fallen from Rosa's eyes, In an instant, Cannon had beautifully and precisely cut just a single thread of Rosa's life. There was no wound on Rosa's body. However, several drops of blood dripped down from her eyes. Her pain, her uncertainties, and her worries were all gone now. Slowly, she fell down onto her side on the sofa. No, he should make Shannon clean it. They're enemies right now. Kind of. This had been one of the happiest things she had done during the happiest day of her life. Sleep well, Rosa-sama. Your hell has ended. Cannon took a blanket out of a cupboard and gently covered Rosa with it. To anyone, it would have looked just as though Rosa was sleeping peacefully. Those demons had not exaggerated when calling this trial a battle of love. It was at least accurate on this cruel but unassailable fact, that those who have their love shattered meet with death. Now my part is complete. Did you see that, demons? Oh. For a second, I thought the scene was going to end simply. I didn't remember this. At all. Damn. You dare to kill my mama. You dare to kill my mama. One of the two great witches of marriage sorcery, Maria. Though she was just an apprentice, the power of sleeping within her had impressed even Beatrice at the height of her strength. In Maria's eyes, though Rosa may have been the Black Witch, she was also the best older mother she couldn't help but love. Her anger at having that stolen from her was near madness. You dare to, mama, mama, mama. Yeah! Maria's attack was too emotional. Because of this, she didn't notice that Cannon had vanished for several heartbeats, and she released her barrage at what had become empty space. In the meantime, Cannon jumped from the wall to wall and onto Maria's back. Huh? I don't want to kill past my quota, but I'll clean up the messes I've made. Can't leave any witnesses, I guess. You. What are you? Diplomatic immunity. I won't let you target Maria or me. I mean, he's being targeted by them, so it's not fair. Damn. The red curved blade extending from Cannon's hand vanished in an instant. He tried hard to make it reappear, but when he attempted to use it on Maria and Sakataro again, it vanished once more. Because of Sakataro's power, he was unable to make either of them the target of his attacks. There you are. How long have you been there? You. I won't let anyone bully Maria. Damn it. Maria finally noticed where Cannon was, and she slowly turned around. See, I guess Maria may not have been an easy target after all. That's the thing. You could have probably caught her off guard, to be fair, but things could have gone wrong. Cannon made his sword materialize yet again. But no matter how often he tried, it kept spitting out like a flashlight with a bad battery. I won't let you get away now. I won't forgive you for the sin of stealing my mama away. I'll kill you. Just like Mama killed all of them. I'll kill you without mercy. Killed all... Who? What? As Maria howled, the entire parlor was surrounded by a queue of red magic barriers. It was a closed room symbolizing a barrier that Cannon could never escape. Damn it. Not here. Cannon cursed his bad luck. Even though he had fulfilled his goal in the demon's trial, if he was killed here, he'd be dragged off the game board. Maria, don't overdo it. Yeah, I won't overdo it. I'll be a little more gentle than Mama was. I feel like she wouldn't fall for that from Cannon. Shannon could do it. Beatrice could do it. But Cannon, I don't know. I mean, she is pretty gullible. Would you? Who is it? Pardon me, Maria-sama. In accordance with the contract with Zephyr-sama and Furfur-sama, I come for your life. We've never seen Shannon attack before. She's always just stood there with a shield. Shannon, don't get in my way. It's pointless, Shannon. I won't let anyone target Maria. Yes, I don't intend to target her in any way. I'll simply protect myself. I think I remember what happens here. A cylindrical red magical barrier surrounded Shannon as she stood in the center of the parlor. She made its brightness and thickness grow, and its radius suddenly expanded, filling up the room. It wasn't targeting Maria, as far as being wielded to protect Shannon's body. So, Sakataro's power didn't make it disappear. Yeah, Kiria just didn't really, get any proper... I mean, Belphegor was there, but she didn't really get to do much of anything. I just kind of ran away this time. Nay-san, would you let your feelings for My Lady collapse in a situation like this? Get a hold of yourself. Ugh. Who do you... By now, the shield with Shen at the center had covered up the entire room. Its power crushed Mari and Sakataro into the corner. Ironically, they were perfectly wedged between Shen's barrier and the closed room barrier Mari had set up to prevent Cannon from escaping. No good. Can't escape. I see, this is a closed room. Hehehe. This might be just perfect for that wannabe detective who's trying to deny Beato's magic. Checkmate, Maria-sama. Is that acceptable? Yeah, it's fine. Crush me. So essentially what she's doing here is they're playing magic, and instead of playing something that targets a creature, she plays Wrath of God, and it kills all creatures. It buries them. She's using, like, terminology to get around the restriction. I'm not targeting everything. I'm just expanding this as far as it goes. And it just happens to be affecting everything. Not individually, just everything. All. So it's fair game. Then here it comes. The entire room was filled with the red light of the shield, and the output and pressure were raised to their limits. Then, crushed between the shield and their own closed room barrier, Mari and Sakataro lost their forms, scattered into a golden splash, and disappeared. That was short after all, actually. Thank you. I couldn't afford to disappear here. If you lost in a place like this, you wouldn't be able to let it go. Yeah. I wouldn't give up if I lost in a place like this. Zavar-sama, Perver-sama. We have both finished our trials. Is that satisfactory? Both their scenes combined were shorter than, like, George's or Jessica's alone. Yeah, truly splendid. No complaints for either of you. Then shall we finish with Beatrice's turn? Oh, where did she go? To the victim she's chosen, of course. Then let's go there as well. Now, does Beatrice have to take 2 turns because there's 2 Beatrices? I mean, we're supposed to have 6 people die in the first Twilight, after all. So we gotta raise that party count by 1 more somehow. Natsu could be seen in her personal room. Cress had told her to go to bed, but she couldn't afford to lie around sleeping on an important day like this. However, she realized that she was the type to get excited easily, and that this sometimes held her husband back. So, though she didn't like it one bit, there was no way around it. It was probably close to the time for the break to end, and the family conference would begin once again in the dining hall. Her husband would have to protect the Yoshimura family honor from these greedy siblings, all by himself. Please, can someone just target Erika? If she grew emotional by his side, she would just tie him down. Though she knew that quietly waiting here was the best way she could support him, that didn't make the waiting any easier. Natsu pulled a small treasure box out of a drawer. This was her secret box. Inside was everything from valuable items to be rubbish. This is the same box that came up, in episode 2. I think. However, they were all precious, memorable treasures in Natsu's eyes. She pulled a small pouch out of the box. She stuck her hand inside it. It was a kind of charm that her own family had given her when she had married. A spirit mirror to ward off evil. Her own face was reflected in it. Youth doesn't last forever. Recently, she'd seen a bit of her parents and grandparents on her own face. So by staring at her reflection in the mirror like this, she felt as though her soul had returned to the family she'd been born into. Dad, Mom, I've always been so ignorant, and unable to support my husband. Of course, her face in the mirror did not answer. However, Natsu continued. I wait here alone because I love my husband. However, I think love means being close to one another. Though I understand logically that staying here is the best way I can help him, I still feel wretched for doing it. It's tough, isn't it? Waiting for the sake of love. With a plop, a tear fell into the mirror. Old, dear memories of her life at her parents' house rose up inside her. Now was the time for her to follow her parents' example. When her father came home late, her mother would always sit up straight waiting for him, prepared for him to arrive at any moment. She would always wait for him, kneeling in the entrance hall. No matter how late he came home, she would always wake up all the children and line them up to greet him. At the time, I only thought of her as being exceptionally strict. But at this age, I finally understand how strong she was, persevering in her love for her beloved husband, even after being left in charge of the house while he was out. Because of your love for your husband, you couldn't bear to be made to care for an unfamiliar child. Ah, I see. The sudden voice made Natsu jump up and look around the room. Beatrice knows. When she did, there was a Western lady draped in an extravagant dress. Who are you? Nancy was confused. There was no one like this in the mansion. However, though this was her first time seeing this person, it felt as though she had seen her somewhere else. Her mind had gone blank with anger at the ruffian who had snuck into her private room, and confusion over the appearance of someone she didn't know. So it took quite some time before she realized that this was the witch of the portrait. You should have had the scorpion charm on your doorknob. Though you murdered a baby you didn't know on that day 19 years ago, I will not hold that sin against you. But what are you talking about? Beato had chosen Nancy as her sacrifice. She was Balor's enemy. Beato didn't know much about the details of Balor's birth. However, she knew about the fragment from the previous game, and knew that there was a chance that Balor was the baby that Nancy had pushed off a cliff 19 years ago. Somehow. Balor had used this blue wedge to protect Nancy from certain false charges, but if he took it as a confession by Balor himself, then from Beato's position, Nancy was an enemy who probably forced Balor to live a painful life. You killed that baby. You lacked your husband's blood for the sake of your love for your husband. So, also for the sake of love, I will not hold it against you. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Get out. This is my room. I feel like she probably doesn't get a cool anime fight, but it's been a while. But I mean, if Maria gets to do like nothing, I highly doubt it. Therefore, please do not hold against me when I kill you for the sake of my love. At most, maybe she'll get a gun. Beato slowly stuck out her arms and made as if to grab something in empty space. That grab bound itself around Nancy's neck. Good. Nancy's heels lifted up, and a faint purple shape appeared around her neck. Nancy frantically scratched at her neck, trying to stop whatever was strangling her, but there was nothing there. So, to an outsider, it just looked as though Nancy was standing on her toes in anguish, scratching at her own neck. Both pairs of lovers have shown their determination. I do not think that my love for Balor's son is inferior to theirs. Just as I will not blame you for your sin of 19 years ago, I will not blame myself for this sin. Gah. As Nancy twisted in agony, something she had been grasping fell from her grip. Since it had fallen by her feet, Beato dropped her gaze to see what it was. It was Nancy's spirit mirror. When she peered into it, there was a sound like a burst of electricity. That sound released Nancy from the invisible hands, and made Beato topple backwards like a doll. Which is weird, because usually this Beato explicitly is not affected by this stuff, like spiderwebs and stuff don't bother her, weirdly enough. Really trying to clear my throat. Difficult. Just like Nancy. Coughing, Nancy tried to comprehend what was going on around her. Beato rolled over, and, dizzy as though she had just bumped her head, she slowly tried to stand up. Maybe it's out now. It's not out now. It's gotta deal with it. Her eyes were bewildered, as though she didn't really understand what had happened. What is this? That is surprising. You can touch spiderwebs without trouble, but you can't handle the spirit mirror? Even I don't have a clue what's happening. What in the world? She thought that only Beato the Elder possessed non-human weak points, such as getting burned by spiderwebs and wards, and having her power sealed by spirit mirrors. However, for some reason, the spirit mirror alone could apparently affect Beato as well. Even Beato couldn't understand what about the spirit mirror had such an overpowering effect on her. But Nancy was different. She instantly realized that the reason for the hesitation of this unearthly being, this witch of the portrait, must be the power of the mirror. So she rapidly crawled across the floor and picked it up. Then she stuck it out so Beato could see it. Beato still didn't know what was happening, so, still sitting down, she looked straight at it. Just close your eyes. And this time, both of them understood the situation completely. Beato realized that the mirror was working some kind of hateful power against her. And Nancy realized that the spirit mirror had the power to repel witches. Ugh. Why is the mirror? It's because you're an evil witch. This miraculous spirit mirror repels all creatures of evil. Don't point it at me. With the spirit mirror still held out, Nancy cautiously closed the gap between them. She was cautious as so as to prevent the other from suddenly lashing out and stealing the mirror, but she steadily moved to corner this evil. I do not know who you are. All I know is that you tried to kill me. and I know that you are a creature of evil, fearful of the spirit mirror. Begone, evil one. Do you remember, I think, didn't Natsu come from like a family of priests or something like that? So I guess she has some of the background. I want to say that was a thing that got mentioned. Beata didn't understand what was happening herself. She didn't know why she had to fear the spirit mirror. However, when she tried to look at the bright light let off by the spirit mirror, it pierced her eyes. Dude, chapstick would probably help more than water. Though she didn't understand why she must be afraid, she did understand that she must be afraid. By now, Beata realized that the spirit mirror was both terrifying and harmful. As it came closer to her, she felt an increasingly strong and painful burning sensation over her whole body, as though someone was approaching her with a hot iron. She couldn't even open her eyes because of the mirror's bright, painful glint. Ooh, dance in fancy pants. Go, return to the world from whence you came, evil one. I, Ushimi Nazi, do not feel evil in the least. It's no use. Why? Why is this musty mirror so... If I lose here, I'll be the only one to fail this trial. Just like George-san and Shenichi-san and Jessica-san and Karan-san. I also want Butler-san to acknowledge me and treasure me. And even though I've finally managed to be honest with myself, in a place like this, I alone will be... Are you giving up? Only you? Believe, a miracle of love will surely occur. I love Butler-san. I want him to notice me, and I want him to acknowledge and accept my feelings. If my reason for calling him father and dedicating myself to him was out of duty towards a parent of mine, I would have been satisfied with no reward. That was a deception. I used to fool myself. I love Butler-san, and I want him to acknowledge it. I accept it. I won't turn away any longer. I was born because I love Butler-san, and I want him to love me back. Fanfiction, Beatrice. And so, I cannot lose here. Begone, evil one. There is no place for you here. Her determination had come too late. If she'd had it from the start, she would probably have managed to finish Natsu off right then without any fear. Because she had wavered, it had taken time to kill Natsu, and things had ended up like this. But now I'm resolved. I want to love Butler-san. I want him to love me. And so, I cannot lose here. After all, I was born for Butler-san's sake. Yes, that is what we wanted to hear. That just sounded like a regular gun. Huh? Just after a sound like a beetle banging off all the walls filled the room, the spirit mirror was knocked out of Natsu's outstretched hand. It fell to the floor, and the stake flying around the room pierced through it with a crash. Lucifer of Pride right here. You dare mock me by choosing single old mirror to be my first target in so long? Huh? Lucifer, son? Beatrice-sama, you must complete your trial. She's getting away. Someone, help me. Someone. Now that the spirit mirror, her last ray of hope, had been smashed, and the number of strange demons had increased, Natsu could do nothing but run for it. However, if she made a scene and people gathered, the anti-magic toxin would burn Beato. That was her last chance. Thank you, Lucifer-san. Prepare yourself, Ushimi Natsu. So I guess Chick Beato has gotten stronger through the power of love and unconsciously summoned one of the stakes. Interpret it like that. Yeah. Yeah. Once again, Beato choked the thin air. This time, she wouldn't let her escape. She had to end Natsu's pain right away before it got too drawn out. But her power wasn't enough. The Natsu scratched at her neck. She also struggled to escape from the room. Her shaking hand stretched out to the lock of the door. A closed room is one of the concepts that allows a witch to be a witch. Just unlocking the door strengthened the anti-magic toxin a little. Since Beato was at her limit, even within a closed room, if Natsu undid that lock, Beato's power would weaken immediately, and Natsu would surely escape into the hallway. Their strengths were matched. However, Natsu's began to surpass Beato's slightly. The power of the living to live is fundamentally stronger than the power of magic. Of course, Beato was mustering all her might. However, Natsu was just a bit stronger. That's enough. Lucifer, do it. As you wish. Lucifer transformed into a stake, and like the time she had smashed Natsu's spirit mirror, flew violently around the room. Then she struck Natsu's forehead. Natsu crumbled slowly. When Beato saw this, she also fell to her knees, breathing hard. Hey, Zephyr, does this count? Beatrice didn't complete the trial by her own strength alone, right? That's right, Furfur. True, this trial must be accomplished without borrowing the help of any other. But maybe this is an exception? A pair in love are as one. This doesn't count as help from outside. Why not? Make her kill someone else. We still need 6. But Battler-san, did you really have to scare me like that as soon as the first twilight? But my apologies. Sorry I didn't listen to your instructions. Instructions? Well, I didn't stay in my room. Beato hung her head apologetically. When he saw this, Battler scratched his head uncomfortably. In that case, I should apologize too. I should have chosen my words more carefully. No, you did nothing wrong. Battler-san. It's okay. Call me whatever you like. Huh? Battler had always looked at the new Beatrice sternly. However, that was gone from his expression now. True, the old you may have just called me Battler. At first, I might have tried to force you to speak to me that way. But that would be pointless. You're Beato, but you're still you. You can call me whatever you want. But Battler-san? Sure, that works great. Can't stay being called father is really my thing. Good. Yes. Earlier, she'd hesitated just to say Battler's name at all. If Battler told her to say his name without honorifics, she couldn't have done so right now. And even if she had, that might have hurt Battler even more. However, now she was allowed to call Battler by his name. He just had to look into her eyes to see how happy this made her. I heard from Zephyr and Furfur. Seems a strange game has been started. Yes. Sorry for getting involved all on my own. No problem. That recklessly you leap in before you understand is really like you. And, well, I've heard about the theme of this game. Apparently you're supposed to play it in pairs. Yes, that is correct, Lord Battler. If you can succeed in winning through our trial, we will bless the pair of you and bestow a miracle of magic upon you. Seems these guys have been giving their power to Beato's golden butterfly brooch. That means its effectiveness is guaranteed. We've been stuck with each other for a long time now. Nothing wrong with playing this sort of game every now and then. Battler-san. Oh, did you hear that, Furfur? It looks like Lord Battler is joining in as well. That's no surprise. After all, we've known since the beginning. Welcome to our trial, Lord Battler. So who will your sacrifice be? I've already done my part. Go and check if you want. Ow, he's fast. You just went and killed someone for fun. Or is experiencing true freedom now? Very well, Lord Battler. Come, Furfur, let's go check. Yes, let's. But Zephyr? This means that all 6 lovers have succeeded in their trials, right? What should we do next? The resolve of all 6 is the real deal. Let us test them further in the next trial. The 2 noisy demons disappeared. They'd apparently left to go check on the sacrifice Battler had killed. And also, so that Battler and Beato, who could finally look each other in the eye and talk, could have some time alone. Don't forget that they're here. What do you think of the tale so far? One suddenly asked this question, and she immediately came to her senses. Then she realized that she had been immersed in Hachijo's tale. She felt a bit defeated and tried to look displeased. You cleverly tried to distract us with this love trial stuff. It's actually 6 people have died setting up the first twilight. Impressive. Oh, you're right. I hadn't realized. Amakusa clapped his hands as though he'd been outsmarted. Even though he figured it out before me, he played the fool. That's simply because the number of lovers just happened to be 6. The fact that it matched to the number of the first twilight was half coincidence, half design. It's a bit more interesting that way. Feels more like fate. Humans have the bad habit of taking 2 meaningless phenomena and trying to link them together, trying to make things seem like fate is a trick of books. I guess you aren't a fan of destined miracles, lady. It's like UFOs. Everyone knows about them, but no one has ever seen them. There's a cool metaphor. So, normally, I try to skip over the love and illusions and call them unnecessary, useless scenes for the mystery. But Okanoki-san disagreed with that way of thinking. He thought that, by looking at things without love that way, the truth could never be reached. Ah, you mean President Okanogi's catchphrase. Without love, it cannot be seen. Yeah, that. If I put aside my anger at the person who killed my family in a story, and even speak with respect for Madame Hachijo, the one who wrote this tale, then there must be a point to this deception. Not deception, depiction. After all, she's used up all these pages talking about love and trials. In other words, those are the themes and key words of this tale. Oh ho. And there are many who claim that all words not written in red ink are not worth reading. It is an honor, child of man, that you have read the black letters as well. Stories are written because the writer, has something they want to communicate. And some writers feel that it's unrefined to lay everything out too directly. All this about how you'll never reach the truth without love has shown up many times in the works before this one. This new work makes that even more striking. It means that that is the one thing the writer wanted to tell the most, the thing that they want us to think about the most. When you think about it, there have been many scenes about love ever since Beato first appeared. Even the first time she appeared before Shannon, she spoke clearly about how love was the single element of the world, and the golden butterfly brooch she had given was also an item for love. She had said that she enjoyed sowing seeds of love and watching complications arise, and when Shannon stopped borrowing her power, the reason for her argument was also love. After her interactions with Bat were stored up in full, scenes about love were toned down for a while. But the without love it cannot be seen definition of magic has been mentioned repeatedly. Then, in the tale right before this one, when Beato became like a doll, several scenes made it seem almost as though Battler and Beato had accepted each other as rivals, or possibly something more. In the end, Battler had regained some memory, and his impression of Beato had undergone a complete change. And then, in this game, from the beginning until now, the word love has been repeated over and over again. So many times it's kind of obnoxious. The tale he wrote keeps talking about love. However, that's not Mario Nasan's viewpoint, or Beatrice's viewpoint. It's Hachito Toyo's viewpoint. Correct. That is what I wanted to tell. And it is my own sort of answer. Answer? That all the crimes 12 years ago were a trial of love started by strange demons? Ridiculous. I didn't come here to read a romance novel you wrote. What I want to know is about the truth you claim to have reached. That's a complicated question. Foolish child of man. After reading all of this, do you still not understand? With an obviously condescending gaze, Hachito shrugged. It was clear that she was trying to provoke Angie. She was probably hinting that Angie should just go home if she was annoyed. If you're going to read my noble work and not even attempt to see whether you understand it, then get out. Normally, Angie would already have thrown a fit and left. However, she couldn't do that. Though she didn't like someone else toying with her family's fates in a story, she was growing increasingly certain of something else as she read through it. Just as Hachito's followers said, this tale really does have the same presence, the same scent as the tales written by Beatrice. The author was certainly different. However, because it reached to the real truth, it had the same scent. Angie was beginning to acknowledge this. Hachito Toya was one who had reached Beatrice's truth, an endless witch like Beatrice who could add to the endlessly stretching parallel worlds of the cat box. So essentially, she understands the rules behind the story. If one has reached Beatrice's truth, they can create a new tale, whoever they are. With this new manuscript, I'm sure someone besides myself will appear and reach the truth. Those people will be qualified to create new tales of their own. So there will be more and more endless witches. Yes, and these many endless witches will add to Beatrice's catbox tale. The more they add to it, the more people will reach the truth. When that happens, the very first endless witch, Beatrice, will finally be rewarded for writing such long letters, packing them in bottles, and throwing them into the sea. You might have yelled at me angrily and risen from your seat. However, you did not. Why? I hate to admit it, but I'm starting to think that your tale has some kind of truth or hint within it. I already have my own ideas. However, that's no more than looking with a single eye. Unless I accept a different viewpoint from my own and look at things from more than one angle, I'll never be able to see the truth in 3 dimensions. That's my interpretation of, without love, it cannot be seen. Very well, child of man. Perhaps as the final survivor of the Ishimura family, it was fated that you would find the truth and become an endless witch. I exist only as a guidepost to awaken you as the true successor. Angie Beatrice, don't call her that. Sometimes I don't understand what she's saying. However, she knows something. And maybe she actually has reached the truth, as she claims. In other words, I didn't learn the truth even after reading the 2 message bottles Beatrice left behind, and I'm now reading tale after tale filled with hints. Yeah, episode 6 does, allude to a certain something a lot. It's not really said outright quite yet. Maybe it never will be. But there's an important thing going on with this whole love trial that feels really obvious in hindsight once you understand. So these hints are challenges provoking me to think. Indeed. Perfect. I'll find this truth you say you've reached. It's a good thing I came here. That it is. I invited you here because you hadn't found it yet, child of man. Let the truth I see and the truth you see overlap. Just as you see things with a single eye, so do I. Now that I've found you, I can finally see the truth with both eyes. Wow. So the first twilight has finally happened. Everything so far has made me so sleepy. You have some sleep in your eye. Huh? Where? Never mind your own business. As you wish, let's begin. First off, the first Twilight. Finally, are we gonna have some, like, reasoning stuff? Maybe? Maybe. We don't even know who Battler killed yet. So pretty soon it's gonna be updating the body count formally, I think. Probably gonna find him in this scene. Erica was dozing off on her bed, so when a knock sounded on the door, it took some time before she noticed. She looked at the clock and saw that not much time had passed since she'd lain down. Yes, who is it? I hope you have a good reason for knocking the detective's door at an hour like this. That's right. I have one thing to say before we begin this game. Oh, that detective proclamation thing. Do as you wish. No, I mean the opposite. I say we raise the stakes. Raise the stakes? What's this? Now that sounds interesting. What do you mean? It's simple. Battler got a shot off at us in the last game. So if Erica does the same in this game, we're only even. Wasn't the last game a tie? We failed to win a game that should have been a shoo-in, right? If that isn't a loss, I don't know what is. Right, Erica? Yes, my master. If I hadn't failed so miserably, we would have won that game easily. Ooh, I get it. So this time you'll intentionally fight at a disadvantage by not making a detective proclamation, and win despite that. You're scheming to not only wipe out your loss from the previous game, but to totally flip the score upside down, right? You intend to participate in the game Battler sent Porta's heart and soul into, with a foolish handicap like that? That is not only presumptuous, it's quite rude. You've got a point there. Sounds more like an excuse just in case they lose. We're not really trying. True, you could also look at it that way. If they win, it's a great victory, but if they lose, Erica's side has a nice little excuse. Isn't that a bit unsporting? Don't worry, this bet is balanced on both sides. If this game is won by a human without the detective proclamation, it'll be impossible for Battler and the others to pick up the pieces of the illusion of the witch. But on the other hand, if Erica loses, that detective trash will be sent into the depths of oblivion, along with the worst possible fragment. Awkward Erica look. See? That's balanced, isn't it? An ultimate victory with a mere human, not a Superman detective destroying the illusion of the witch. She's putting her own destruction on the line to make that bet. I've gotten bored with these sluggish repeating games that you and the former Beato made, so raising the stakes and settling it all at once. Well, that is true. If Battler makes it through this game, it'll mean that Battler has won Beato's game, and the game will end. In a sense, it's a showdown you can't escape, right? I see your position. Are you okay with that, Erica? Yes, of course. In order to regain my master's trust in me, which was lost by my previous defeat, I will risk even my own destruction. Is that of your own will? What's wrong, Erica? Answer him, okay? Obviously, this is my own will. I certainly will not lose. Even without the detective proclamation, I will defeat you, no matter what. Battler-san. Sure, that's fine. If that's what you want, I'll accept that challenge. Thank you very much. I'll make sure you regret it. After all, when Battler played for the human side, he never had anything as convenient as the detective's authority. All he was allowed to do was use the blue truth and demand that Beta repeat things he said. Exactly. In a way, the last game wasn't fair. We failed to win despite that, which is why it was no different from a loss. Do what you want. If you feel like making a detective proclamation, do it whenever you like. I understand that you're holding it off. You're holding in reserve at the moment. I think the proclamation was essentially the way she ended the last game early. I believe that's all she's giving up. So she's saying that she'll play out the game in full. And give Battler more chances to confuse her and present problems to her. As if I'd use such a thing against an opponent like you. Then get started, you two. I'm already starting to get bored. Leave it to me, my master. I will destroy the illusion of the witch for you without fail. I think I will double check that, though. Umineko detective proclamation. Let's see. No, it's just her entire thing as the detective, period. She just doesn't have, like, her cheat powers, like confirming stuff and sealing rooms. Okay. Right. But she's still the detective. Keep that in mind. I think. I'm not sure. Let's see. Anyway. I think it'll be elaborated on later. Actually, there's something I have to check, though. Hold on. I don't mean to stall here. I forget exactly how this works out. I'm gonna go read something on this. Well, my memory is causing a contradiction, but it's probably just an error on my end. So we'll see what happens. This is a good time for me to go use the bathroom real quick, I think, as well, since I've been sitting here doing nothing for a minute. Anyway, I'll be right back. I have to Google for 1 second longer. Hold on. I'm gonna change around my wording a little bit here. Alright, it's just best that I keep going, I think. George and Jessica had been the ones knocking on Erica's door. They were asking whether Bella and Mari had come to this room. Of course, they hadn't. A good while ago, they went downstairs saying they wanted to get something to drink. We thought they might have come to your room. Why would they ever do that? Of course not. Why would they? I'm sure they didn't go to the mansion. I called the servant room and dining hall of the mansion, but no one picked up. Please stay here, you two. I'm going to go check the mansion. Hey, it's dangerous to go out this late. How could a stranger sneak into the Seal Off Island? Stay in that cousin room of yours. I'll contact you if anything happens. Also, tell the servants in the guest house servant room not to leave the building. Bye. Wait a second, Erica-san? She's a strange kid. Not just speaking your mind, not listening to anything else. Erica dashed down the stairs and rushed outside. Sorry, the overlay is broken tonight because I booted up stuff in the wrong order. You will not get your boards back. The first twilight usually starts in the morning, but it looks like we've got an early fight this time. No crime has occurred in the guest house, so that means the stage of the tragedy is in the mansion. Though she had an umbrella up, Erica got drenched as she sprinted. She brashly licked the raindrops that dripped down her face. So essentially, she's not the detective right now. I think it's best if you think about it like that. Half of that. I could make that happen. Alright, there is Matt Pat and his son. Matt Pat Jr. Don't theorize about me or my son ever again. According to a memory from the previous game, the entrance hall to the mansion will be locked after the start of the family conference. However, the lock was undone this time. Had someone unlocked it, or had the lock not been set, or had it been possible to set, or had it not been possible to set the lock? Well, no point thinking about it. After all, that might just be a whim of the game masters. As soon as she entered the entrance hall, the door to the parlor opened violently. Out of it flew Gota's large body. Ah, good evening, Gota-san. Is something the matter? Police, ambulance. That expression really is wonderfully pathetic. It was perfect for the first one to discover the crime. Please calm down. How could the police or an ambulance get to an isolated island inside a typhoon? I'm sure the phones are out anyway, so please calm yourself. Yells from Kraus and Rudolph's group could be heard from the parlor. Their shaken appearance perfectly signified the coming of the first twilight. Well then, give me the victims, the scene, and a reconstruction of the situation. Those who left to take a break didn't come back. So the adults went to the parlor. When they did, the door was sealed from the inside and they couldn't open it. You'll see later, but the hat stand of the parlor had been used to bar the double doors from the inside. So you're trying to say that the door was blocked from the inside, and the windows were also locked from the inside? That's it. When they went around and looked into the parlor through the window, they saw Rosa lying on the sofa in an unnatural position, with blood flowing from her forehead. They then smashed the glass, entered the parlor, and discovered that Mario was also there, lying by the wall and covered in blood. Got it. Yes, that would make them yell. In the other crime scenes? The entrance wasn't locked when you came into the mansion, because they went out through it to check the parlor from the outside. It had been locked before they left through it, so there was a chance that the others, who had gone missing, were lying elsewhere within the mansion, and the adults are now searching the entire building. So, do the places the victims died match that long, crazy delusion you showed earlier? They match. Rosa and Mario were in the parlor. Beyond that, Nazi was in her own room, and Kitty was in Kraft's study. Ava was in the rose garden. No, wait, she was moved to the VIP room, wasn't she? Yes, Ava's corpse was found in the VIP room. That makes 5 victims. Ah, that's one short for the first twilight. Who's the 6th person, and where? Kurosawa, the chain of this room is also set. Cut it. The culprit might be hiding in there. Go to do it. Rudolph and Kraus had brought Winchesters from Kenzo's prize collection. They yelled at Gota, who was carrying the wire cutters, to cut the chain. The victims had been found one after another at several locations inside the mansion. The men who had lost their wives searched through the mansion in a rage, looking for the culprit. This was a guest room. It had previously been a room where the relatives would stay, but it hadn't been used much since the construction of the guest house. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, all 4 of the wife characters got killed, actually. Huh. So far, it's all been women who died. They already found Rosa. So yeah, they don't have to search for Rosa. She was in the sitting room place, the parlor. Parlor is the word. She was in the parlor. As soon as the chain was cut, Rudolph pushed Gota aside and flew into the room. Is anyone there? Get out here. There's someone in the bed. Let's get some light, Aniki. When Kraus pushed a switch on the wall, the guest room lit up, and the figure lying on the bed came into view. Battler! Damn it, what are you doing in a place like this? Rudolph's knees crumpled, and he fell over Battler's corpse. I love this twist. Battler was the 6th victim. He killed himself! What a good guy. No words could console him as he cried with a mad sorrow. In a single night, he had lost both his wife and his son. During this time, Kraus checked the window in the bathroom, and searched the closet to find if anyone was hiding there, but found no one. Battler, damn it! Yeah, how sad. I can't believe it, but this room is also a closed room. But what? Again? Yes, my study, where Kirie-san was, Natsu's room, the VIP room with Ava, the parlor with Rosa and her daughter, and now Battler-Kuninda's guest room. They're all closed rooms, aren't they? I don't understand. It couldn't be suicide, could it? That's impossible. How could this be a suicide? Battler. Never seen Rudolph get that emotional before. To be fair, Battler's never been killed before, like, in the game. Have we ever had Kirie die without Rudolph also dying? I'm not sure we have. I don't think we have. I think they tend to die in pairs. Oh, there's a surprise. To think that you yourself would be the 6th person. It's more interesting to kill yourself off every now and again. And all the crime scenes are closed rooms. It's a murder that couldn't have been performed without magic. Isn't seeing through that the point of this game? In other words, it must be a murder that could have been performed without magic. After all, if it really could be done only with magic, this wouldn't be a game. Shut up, Erica. That's an interesting thought. What if that without Kirie? Yeah, but the other way around hasn't happened, I think. Yes, that is the sort of game we've been playing. This game is fair. The goal is to explain without magic the strange crimes that are claimed to be caused with magic. I mean, Kirie died right after that anyway on the phone, so... If that couldn't be done, it wouldn't be a game. In other words, as Erica had said, they must be murders that could have been performed without magic. To turn it around, the witch side had a certain responsibility. They had to make a crime that could be reproduced with tricks and not magic. Unless the human side could see through to those tricks, the witch side could use all kinds of magic and illusions. In other words, in order to carry out a closed room murder with magic, it was necessary to create a crime that would be possible by human hands. Now I understand. I see why. When I ordered the 7 sisters to kill my classmates back at St. Lucia's, they couldn't do what I told them. And I understand the meaning of Mammon's words. Magic can only do what you can accomplish by your own hands. Is that it? At that time, if I'd possessed the determination to kill my classmates, no, that's not it. At that time, if I'd been capable of killing my classmates, capable of pulling it off, then the 7 Sisters of Purgatory would probably have pulled it off for me. They could only accomplish what I could do myself. No, that's not it either. They could take what I had accomplished and turn it into magic. However, because there had been a great number of witnesses in that classroom, it would probably have been impossible. It would have been burned by the anti-magic toxin Mario and H.N. and the others always talk about. However, if I'd called those classmates out somewhere without witnesses, if I had succeeded in murder, at that point, the 7 Sisters of Purgatory would be capable of carrying out a magical murder. Even with magic, witches cannot do things that they cannot accomplish by themselves. They can only adorn things that they're capable of doing with magic. Interesting. That is because those who accomplish something without using magic later claimed that magic was used and called themselves witches. This Erica person has understood that since the beginning. That's why she will never surrender to witches. She is confident that it must be explainable with tricks. The old battler was toyed with so frequently because he did not possess that conviction. Once you see through that rule, the witch loses any chance at victory. That's why they have to make their opponent surrender before they see the truth of that rule. The longer the match is drawn out and the more hints are given, the greater the witch's overwhelming disadvantage becomes. Once again, this reasoning keeps spinning around in circles. Why did Beata let this game get drawn out until she lost? It's not just that Battler's that good. He's not. He's okay. Many victims have been found, and the mansion was still wrapped in chaos. Hideyoshi's group seemed to have gone to the guest house, worrying about the safety of the kids there. Krauss and Rudolph's group was in the hall, talking about what should be done next. During a short gap in this chaos, Erica dashed all about the mansion. Still don't have any confirmation here yet, somehow. She was checking the crime scenes. She doesn't have the authority, I guess. That's why. Normally, with the detective's authority, Erica had the right to openly investigate the crime scenes to her heart's content. However, this time, she hadn't yet made use of that authority. She was a guest and an outsider, so there was little to no chance that she would be allowed to investigate. So, she was forced to quickly check all the crime scenes now, while she could still run about as she pleased. In the servant room, there had been a clear folder containing a sketch of the mansion's interior. Because she had borrowed that, she knew the locations of all the rooms. Erica skillfully made her way through the mansion, dashing into each crime scene in turn. Feels like that, I just left that there for. Lady Erica, I believe you know, but allow me to warn you just in case. Yes? What is it? It is true that you have an incredible photographic memory, Lady Erica. That, combined with the detective proclamation, is what made it possible for you to avoid being deceived by anything. Yeah, I get it. Since no detective proclamation's been made about me, even my photographic memory doesn't count as foolproof evidence. Of course, I understand that. Still, that doesn't mean I can afford to misviewing the crime scenes directly. After all, in the last game, my pride in that regard led me to a truly miserable failure. For example, by this argument, no matter how well you examine a person's corpse, you could not even guarantee that they were not faking their death with absolute certainty. Most probably, features of this situation must be individually confirmed by telling Battler to repeat them in red. I don't need to use the blue truth delivery in order to make him. I understand. Let's start with the basics. The lack of the detective's authority is no handicap. It simply means them fighting under the same conditions Battler once was. Yes, this fight is retracing the old days when Battler and Beatos fought so fiercely. I have nothing as convenient as the detective's authority. I just have to truly fight the same way the old Battler fought. Thinking of it this way, it may be true that I was given quite a favorable, unfair position last game, just as my master has said. It may be difficult without the detective's authority, which is also my pride and honor as a detective, but I won't let that be a handicap. I know what magic is, and I'm fully aware of how to fight with the red and blue truths. I know the way to fight in this game many times better than the old Battler did. I quickly visited the VIP room, browsed his study, and Nancy's room on the second floor, as well as the parlor and the guest room on the first floor. This time checked with my own eyes, as I had failed to do in the last game. Here we go. So, Nancy, Corpse found in room. Erica didn't investigate properly. Details of the cause of death are unknown. That's going to be the case for all of them, I believe. Yep. So they're marked as like half dead, half alive. Because Erica doesn't really have the ability to confirm it, essentially. First off, all the scenes were made to look like closed rooms. Probably a special note was the fact that the master keys could have nothing to do with the trick. The closed rooms were all made without relying on any elements that could be locked or unlocked from the outside by a master key or something else. The windows were all from the inside, and the doors were all locked and chained. A master key could get around all the locks on the doors, but not the window locks or the chain locks. I haven't yet had Battler confirm that it's impossible to manipulate those from the outside, but I'm sure he'll be able to say it in red. It'd be stupid otherwise. I understand. Right now, I'm a mere human. I can't even properly confirm the death of the corpses. Last time, I neglected to check the corpses, and let a massive bit of magic get by me. I won't feel like that again. If I did, I wouldn't be able to face the master I am so indebted to. We have checked all the scenes and finished gathering information. Here is our report. Go ahead. First, all the rooms were closed rooms formed by the window locks and chain locks and the like, so that interference with the outside would be difficult. The only exceptions to the parlor were Rosa and Mario lay dead. Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that the door was barred with a hat stand. It is thought to be substantially the same as a chain lock in that it can only be set from the inside. It's probably their goal to construct closed rooms where explanations using master keys are made completely ineffective. The parlor has no chain lock due to its very nature, so it is natural that something else would be used in the chain's place. In that case, the entrained chapstick. In that case, the interesting question becomes why one of the other rooms with chain locks wasn't chosen to be a closed room. There are several guest rooms other than the one Battler lay dead in, all with similar layouts, correct? Yes, that is correct. In that case, even though it should have been more beautiful to throw them in there, so that everyone would be inside a chain lock closed room, they did not. That hat stand, door bar, and the parlor seemed very suspicious. I should probably pursue this when demanding red truths. Also, we have corpses, but are they the same absolute deaths with their necks sliced open like in the last game, which could be confirmed even without the detective's authority? Of course, she attacked all the corpses and all the crime scenes this time. However, without the detective's authority, she had no guarantee that she'd be able to see through any fake deaths with certainty. The old Battler had also started fighting by doubting whether the victims were truly dead. It was the same for Erica. Please, allow me to speak. Know that there were no corpses that could have been confirmed dead with certainty by physical means. Please, allow me to speak. We cannot deny the possibility that any one of these corpses might be a fake death. Well, I doubt Battler will easily confirm their deaths in red even if I tell him to. Sheesh. I like Beato's chain of 6 closed rooms better. However, these closed rooms are even more complete, considering that master keys don't help you at all. There are 2 general ways of breaking closed rooms that Battler might be after. An illusion of a closed room, or an illusion of a crime. It'll be one of those. I get the first one. That's when something looks like a closed room, but it actually isn't, right? What do you mean by an illusion of crime? An illusion that makes it seem as though a crime has occurred. In other words, are they really dead? Well, that's dumb. If the people inside are alive, handling any kind of closed room is like pissing in a toilet. Still, with this closed room, it's pretty hard to think of any other answer. What about the endless possibilities of manipulating the chain lock from the outside? We don't know if there's secret doors, ways to kill from a distance, chances of suicide, or even whether these are complete closed rooms in the first place. I already know since I'm looking at Balor's game board from the underside, that these are perfect closed rooms. They can only be constructed from the inside, and there exists no method by which to construct, deconstruct, or interfere with them from the outside. Can you say that in red? That'd be a little too rude to Balor, so no. If you do love me, you must see my words as red truth already, right? Then the closed rooms are perfect. In other words, this is an illusion of a crime. It does seem that way. If so, these are all trick closed rooms. Doesn't this mean that everyone got so pissed at Erica bragging about detectives and stuff that they joined together instead of a fake murder to make fun of her? Oh, is that the right answer? I'm like a super detective. Unfortunately, this isn't a fake. The victims really have been killed. Huh? And you don't mean by midnight on the second day, right? No detective proclamation has been made, but she's very accurate when examining corpses. She's good enough that I could give her examinations for the red truth. So, does that mean that they were definitely dead when Erica examined their corpses? Yes, that's right. Totally. But you won't say it in red for her, right? And that poor Erica must want it so bad. Well, she isn't even the detective this time around. I won't give her any red. Still, that makes it incredible. This time, Balor's really made a perfect closed room. Oh yes, I believe you're right. Will Erica be okay? Looks like an ordinary closed room murder at a glance. But this one is pretty nasty. Won't this load be a bit heavy for Erica without our detective's authority? She is a self-proclaimed detective. I'm sure she'll pull through. If Balor and Beato are defeated by a mere human who isn't even a detective, they'd fall apart in the most exquisite way, don't you think? And even if Erica loses, you get to play by throwing her to the worst fragment and knocking her into the depths of oblivion. Exactly. No matter how it turns out, it won't be boring. You really are heartless, aren't you? Well, bringing out this black cat like a towel and licking up every last drop is bliss to me. Beato's game board did entertain me for quite some time, but we've already wrung everything we can from it. It'll be over with this game. So in the end, we really must let Balor and Erica bet everything in one final face-off. And I wanted to play with you forever in this game. What a shame. Come now. I've spent plenty of time with you already. Go find me another interesting game. If you do, I'll play with you again. Yes, you really don't let me get bored. That's okay, Bryn Castell. Seeing your face twist with anguish is the one forbidden honey I've found for myself. And the Delta had guaranteed that it was a perfect closed room. Bryn Castell had guaranteed that it was a perfect murder. A perfect closed room and murder. The witches hate a killjoy, so they haven't said anything with the red truth yet. Pursuing that was the rule for Balor and Erica. Episode 6 is so funny. I just turned up the heat real quick, 1 sec. Let's get to some of the nitty-gritty stuff. Hopefully get some red truth. Looks like you've traveled all over the crime scenes by now. Satisfied? Is your inspection complete? Yes, I'm satisfied. So about our war of red and blue. Shall we start right away? Or do it all at the end? I don't like putting things off. I think the same goes for you. Then let's get started with the closed rooms of the first twilight. First, I'd like to check. Do you intend to respond if I ask you to repeat something in red? Depending on what you say, yes. I have no obligation to respond to everything, and I won't reveal my reasons when I refuse. Good, though. Then let's start simple and confirm the definition of a closed room. Delanor, please read it aloud. Understood. We demand that the following be repeated. Delanor spread out one of those scrolls that some official would always spread out when announcing the king in Western fairy tales, and read it aloud. First, the rooms with the 6 people in them are enclosed rooms. Acknowledged. Of course, that's only until Goda and the others sever the chains and destroy the closed rooms. At a nod from Delanor, Cornelia, who stood behind her, started taking notes. Second, the definition of a closed room implies that it is impossible to construct one from the outside. Acknowledged. In other words, no trigger done from the outside can construct a closed room. It is not permitted for a chain lock to be reset from the outside by a cleverly used wire, for example. I didn't need you to tell me that. Delanor, please continue. Third, the definition of a closed room implies that all forms of interference that pass between the inside and outside of the room are prevented. Acknowledged. However, I won't deny the kinds of interference that you'd expect from a normal room, such as knocks, voices, and the extension telephone line. Fourth, at the time of the construction of the closed rooms, none existed within the rooms except the victims, Natsu, Ava, Kiryu, Rosa, Maria, Balor. Acknowledged. It's a big one. Someone was hiding about it. In this way, they could confirm whether or not the culprit had been hiding inside a closed room. If the culprit had slipped out of the room after the discoverers had noticed the murders and then walked away, it would have been possible to construct an illusion of a closed room. Because Balor acknowledged their statement with red truth, the possibility that the culprit and the victim had both been inside the closed room at the time of the crime, and that the culprit had hidden under the bed and snuck out after the discovery of the crime, had been denied. Also, there's 5 different closed rooms, so that'd be kind of difficult without 5 different culprits. It'd be a very fast culprit zooming from place to place. Fifth, no murder was committed after the deconstruction of the closed rooms. I refuse. Why? Because the victims really were alive after the closed rooms were destroyed. So Kraus and the others who barged in were the culprits and committed the murders then. In other words, they were post-closed room murders. Is that why you refuse? Not at all. The murders will continue to occur, so we cannot say in red that no murders will happen after this. Oh, that's true. Sheesh, what twisted logic. You probably see what we're getting at. Kraus's group cut the chain and destroyed the closed rooms, then killed the people inside. I just want you to counter this. Lady Erica, it is insufficient to refer to Kraus's group and a specified number of people. You should first determine which humans entered the room after the closed room was deconstructed. Allow me to speak. Accepting the victims, those who entered the closed rooms were Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda. Allow me to speak. This is based on spoken testimony. Note that there is no proof that others did not enter. I know that already. Let's have you repeat that. After the deconstruction of the closed rooms, then, excluding me, only Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda entered the rooms. Sure. Acknowledged. However, this only applies to the current point in time. It's possible that some later development of the game will cause more people to enter. Repeat it. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda are not culprits. Balor put his finger on his chin, deep in thought. This word culprit was fairly broad, and it might serve to greatly restrict the darkness of the witch. Why not answer? If you refuse, the Bluetooth naming Kraus and the others of the culprits will remain. Sure. I'll acknowledge it, but I'll make the language more strict. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda were not involved in the murders of Natsu, Ava, Kiryu, Rosa, Maria, and Balor. And that means it was also impossible for any of the other humans, who didn't even enter the closed room, to have been involved with murder, doesn't it? Who knows? Think about it yourself. If you think you can build up some blue truth for how a closed room murder can be committed without entering the room, then I'll respond with the red truth. However, I only need to destroy one of the blue truths you'll be presenting from here on out. In other words, even if you do manage to use the blue truth and explain this away with some long-distance closed room murder trick acts, I don't necessarily have to counter that with the red truth. These are the rules of the witch's game. Angie had confirmed these details with Beato in the 4th game. The witch side lays out riddle after riddle that it claims are impossible to carry out except by magic. The human side must use the blue truth to argue that they are explainable with tricks. And if they fail to make a counter-argument with the blue truth for even one of the riddles, that riddle will be considered to have been done by magic, and it will be impossible to deny the existence of a witch. In other words, the witch side only needs to protect any one of its riddles. However, the human side has to fully explain all riddles with the blue truth. And even if the human side manages to explain all the riddles with the blue truth, if any one of those is successfully countered by the red truth, the witch will win. That was why, like the strategy the old Beato had adopted at the end, it was sufficient for the witch side to put off the red text counter-arguments until the very last moment, and make a single strike at their opponent's most fragile spot. Then if they can't come up with another argument, that's it, I guess. In any event, you refuse to repeat that last one, right? Don't get the wrong idea. I don't give out red for free. From the witch's side perspective, repeating statements made by the human side is just a supplement to make sure that they have misunderstood the question. Therefore, they had no obligation to respond to extremely broad demands. Not bad. Looks like you can handle being a player on the witch side pretty well too. Your experience is no match for mine. Glenor. Let us continue. Next, the victims did not die by any method other than homicide. Acknowledged. Ooh, it's big. Of course, there were no suicides or accidental deaths. So Balor didn't kill himself then. 7th, the victims. That's enough, Glenor. Are you sure? even though that would make sense within the context of a love game. There are still items. Yes, that will do fine. I've confirmed the status of the crime scene. From here on, it's time for me to argue back with the blue truth. Sure, fine. Let me hear your masterful theories. Erica's cooked up something. Imagine. Yep. Though Balor and Erica were enemies, it looked to Beato as though they were having a little fun doing this. Surely we would have 2 episodes cut off early twice, right? She was probably slightly jealous of Erica. Beato thought back on the book she had read in Featherine's library, in which the old hare and Balor had fought. That must have been fun as well. During a short break in the family conference, a horrible, brutal mass murder had occurred. The 6 people killed, excluding Balor, had all been women. The remaining men went mad with rage at this cowardice, then broke down sobbing at the sadness of losing their wives, over and over again. Why were they all women? I don't think we've seen Hideyoshi holding a gun until now. How cowardly can a person be? What's wrong with us? You and I are under the same roof, and we're just smoking away, not noticing that members of our own family are getting killed, damn it. But who and how? They were not unguarded. The chain was set for all of them. Who gives a damn about that? I don't care how they were killed. I just want to know who did it. Hey, Genji-san, Goto-san. Were the doors and windows to the mansion all locked up during the family conference? Yes, there could be no doubt. In accordance with Madam's instructions, everything is always locked tight at the time of the night patrol. Tonight was a special case, so everything was locked up right after seeing the children off to the guest house. How was that possible? I mean, Balor and Maria-chan were inside the mansion, right? They shouldn't have been able to get in, right? If everything really was locked up properly, that couldn't have happened. Doesn't that prove that the building wasn't completely locked up? Well? He was arguing that Goto's failure to lock up properly might have allowed a stranger to sneak in. At the very least, none of them had known that Balor and Maria had visited the mansion. If those 2 had come and found everything locked tight, they wouldn't have been able to get inside. If they had rung the doorbell, Goto probably would have heard them from the servant room, but Goto said that nothing of the sort had happened. How they had entered the locked mansion was a complete mystery. This is merely an idea, but, for example, what if Madame or someone happened to be near the entrance? Notice Balor summoned Maria, someone knocking on the door, ringing the bell, and let them in. That couldn't have happened. You were in the servant room then, right, Goto-san? Isn't there a chime in the servant room that goes off when the front door opens? There's no way you would have missed anyone. But, well, at that time, Goto was serving drinks as you requested, so he was not in the servant room. I was the only one servant in the mansion on such an important day. Why was someone as important as Genji-san on duty in the guest house? Does that make any sense? Why was the servant room left empty? My wife formed those shifts. She probably hoped that Goto would be kind enough to serve some perishable drinks throughout the family conference as well. But Kraus-Nissan, this is the family conference, right? The most important day of the year, right? Why was Goto-san left as the only person on shift in the mansion? If there had just been one more person, everything would have been different, wouldn't? Right? Where's Kumasawa? I don't know if she could have done much, but still, she could have been a witness. With a half-crying, half-enraged, jumbled-up expression, Hideyoshi yelled at Goto. Of course, the culprit who killed everyone was the most to blame and the most despicable. However, even if he understood that, he needed to let off some of his emotions by hating someone he could see. Poor Hideyoshi. He's a good guy. I'm fully aware of how everyone feels. However, please calm down. Either Goto-san wasn't thorough in locking up, or someone let Balor-san and Maria-san in after they came back from the guest house, and then forgot to lock up afterwards. However, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how the culprit snuck in. After all, the mansion is massive. They might have come in much earlier and hid until late at night for all we know. I can understand that you might want to suspect certain people, but please calm down. Our guest is right. The culprit is the one we should hate, not the servant who just happened to be on duty. At any rate, let's calm down. I feel as terrible as the rest of you. However, we must take the initiative now and regain our composure. Aniki, everyone feels just as sad and devastated, and none of us will ever forgive the one who did this. For that reason, we must regain our composure. Yeah, he's right. I still have George. Krasni's-san still has Jessica-san, Chan, and Rudolph-kun. You still have Angie-chan waiting for you to return, right? It's still too soon to start pointing fingers. The culprit is still on this island, and we can't be sure that this tragic crime is over. We need to stay calm to prevent any further tragedies. Erica's words softly consoled them and gently admonished them. If his servant had said the same thing, Rudolph would probably have jumped on him. However, since it had come from the lips of the guest, a neutral party, it seemed to reach their ears. Keep in mind, Erica doesn't have, like, sway over them this time beyond like what a normal person would. So she has to actually be picky with her words, and she can't just say, "You, tell me everything you know. Give me your alibi. Stop crying." She can't just do that. She doesn't have, like, yes powers. Let's take cool. We have 3 grown men with us, and guns as well. Judging by the pattern of the murders, the chances of the culprit having a gun are low. In other words, as long as we keep our heads, the culprit no longer has any way to touch us. She's right. We can't let the culprit do as they please any longer on our island. Let's find the culprit. We're in the middle of a typhoon. They can't escape from the island, and there's only so many places they can take shelter from the rain in. This island is larger than you'd think. Unfortunately, it would be difficult to search the island with this many people. After all, if you found the culprit, you might shoot them to death on the spot, as you are now. If the frightened culprit is run into that deep forest, you won't find them easily. Right. We should just wait for the typhoon to pass, have the boat call the police force, and let them thoroughly search the island. The police are incredible. They'll bring hundreds of people and pick through it with a fine-tooth comb. That forest may be deep, but they'll definitely smoke the culprit out. The most important thing now is to make sure no more of our beloved family members are taken from us. Rudolph, if something happens to you, what will happen to Angie-chan back home? Kiria, Battler. Damn it. I never had a chance to tell you the truth. What does it mean? Rao-san, I'm sure that everyone in the cousin room is extremely agitated right now. Show them that you've regained your composure. I'm sure that will help them relax a lot. Would you mind heading up there? Good point. We have to talk with everyone about what we're going to do next. Please go up with them, Genji-san and Goda-san. I'm sure that Shana-san, Kana-san, and Kurosawa-san are very agitated. Yes. I'm sure everyone is quite agitated. Are you certain? Is there anything else we can help with? That's why I want you to go with Kraus-san. I want you there to help him if something happens. I'd like for the rest of us to check and see that everything's locked up here. We'll head up soon, so please go on ahead. Understood. If you need anything, please call us. Genji bowed and Kraus nodded. Kraus also nodded to Erika, then headed up the second floor with Genji and Goda. In times of confusion, when only men are around, it's easy for a composed member of the opposite sex to take the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, she was able to control them quite naturally. Erika had wanted to get rid of the servants for the time being. Okay. In that case, let's get to checking the locks. Our problem is going to be the big window in the lounge. It looks like it doesn't even have shutters. If they smash this, we won't be able to stop them from coming in. Don't worry, the sound of the glass smashing will be more than enough warning. We'll turn them to Swiss cheese. Quiet, please. I didn't have you stay down here to check the doors and windows. Please listen calmly to what I'm about to say. When Erika lowered her voice, Rudolph and Hideyoshi realized that she wanted to talk about something secret, so they brought their ears closer as soon as they regained their composure. Listen up. This crime happened during a short break in the family conference. In a tiny span of time, 6 people were killed without anyone noticing. I can't imagine a crime improvised on the spot going so smoothly. This crime was committed by someone who knew the layout of this mansion well, inside and out. Well, if they didn't know the inside well. But a short while ago, they'd attacked Goda, suspecting the servants of making a blunder. However, they'd only thought that he'd forgotten to lock up. Oh, hey Verb. Thank you for the prime sub. Appreciate it. Evening. You're here at a pretty good time. However, they'd only thought that he'd forgotten to lock up, and were attacking him for letting the mysterious culprit sneak in. They hadn't considered that one of the servants they knew so well might have taken those lives with their own hands. No, they hadn't wanted to think that. People can't easily suspect someone they know well being a culprit. At the time of the crime, the mansion was locked up from the inside, and only those involved with the family conference existed there. So, Aniki killed Kiria and the others. Or am I supposed to suspect Hideyoshi Nissan? It's impossible. Unthinkable. I never even considered suspecting Kraus Nissan or Rudolph could. All the siblings had excellent relationships with their spouses. True, the Yoshimita family may be strict with discipline and money, but that doesn't mean we treasure our own family less than anyone else. Yes, of course I believe that. I wouldn't dream that any of you would kill your own wives. Erika had already received red truth proof from Balor that they were not the murderers, so there was no need to argue that point. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda. None of those 4 was the killer. And yet, Erika said this. However, what about Goda-san? He was in the waiting room the whole time during the family conference, in a position from which he could do anything without anyone knowing. Isn't it a little early to suspect Goda-san? Goda-san came to bring us drinks to the dining hall during the break. He was with us for quite some time. He couldn't have had time to kill 6 people. However, he might have been able to let the actual killer to the mansion. Precisely. Koro-san probably didn't kill them himself. However, it's very possible that he secretly welcomed the actual murderer to the mansion. Rudolph and Hideyoshi, stunned, looked at each other. They were family. Even a wife of the siblings would be considered family. Though the siblings hated each other, it wasn't possible that they'd hate each other's wives enough to kill them. Eva and Rosa were 2 of the siblings, but none of the others could have had any reason to kill Natsu, Kirie, Bauer, or the young Maria. But to a servant like Goda, perhaps they were all a little more than complete strangers. He's the newest employee. I suspect the servants on 2 points. First, the victims were familiar with them, and there were no signs of a fight in any of the crime scenes. I think you know well that there was no disturbance at any of those places. I was thinking that too. Kirie was used enough to fights that she wouldn't get killed that easily without resisting. That woman wouldn't hesitate to bite your finger off. It does make more sense if the culprit was someone she knew, who was suddenly attacked when her guard was down. Come to think of it, the same goes for my Eva. She knows a dozen kinds of martial arts. She spends every day practically wishing for some ruffian to attack her. She wouldn't have been killed off so easily. Then what about Rosa-san in the parlor? Do you think she'd be easily killed by a stranger without resisting, unless she had her only daughter with her? Yeah, Kirie did go down, like, surprisingly easy. Still a pretty good scene, though. And this tells us something else that's important. Something important? The culprit isn't just one person, right? You're right. Both Rosa-san and Maya-chan were in the parlor. If they hadn't both been killed at the same time, there would have been an uproar. Since the culprit was able to do that, there can't be just one of them. When it comes to Maya-chan, Rosa was like a quick-to-anger mama bear. She wouldn't cower in fear even if someone pointed a gun at her. I see, so it had to be someone who wouldn't rouse Rosa's suspicion until the last second. Now we see that the idea of an unknown outsider sneaking onto the island is actually the less realistic option. The culprit is someone familiar with this island, and there's more than one. I mean, I think if they'd been napping on the couch or something, you could have easily killed one of them and then just killed the other before a struggle could ensue, but I don't know. I guess it depends on your definition of struggle. The culprit is someone familiar, and there's more than one. Erica's reasoning pointed clearly at the ones they should suspect and guard themselves against. So, you suspect the servants? Yes. Under the current circumstances, they are the most suspicious. The second reason to suspect them is the closed rooms with the chain locks. Why do the chain locks make them suspicious? What if there was no chain lock in the closed rooms? Then they wouldn't be closed rooms. With a single master key, anyone could make them. I see. The servants had to seal them with the chains so that they wouldn't be suspected. Exactly. By setting the chain, they don't have to worry about being suspected. To turn it around, if the chains weren't set, they wouldn't be able to avoid suspicion since they hold the master keys. So, the only ones with something to gain from setting the chains are the servants. I'm not trying to protect them or anything, but if so, how do they actually set the chains? Is it possible to set them from the outside? Considering how they're built, I don't think it'd be impossible. Have you heard this story? Apparently some mailmen who deliver to apartment mailboxes are known to carry loops of wire with them. Yeah, I've heard of that. Apartment mailboxes often have similar jointed boxes around them for the nearby room numbers. I hear they sometimes accidentally deliver letters to the next room over if they weren't careful. These mailboxes are almost always locked. If you put the mail into the wrong one, you'd have no way of getting it out. In that situation, they're supposed to tell the owner of that mailbox about their mistake, have that person lock the mailbox for them, and retrieve the improperly delivered mail. However, the resident of that apartment would often be out, and going through that process would be a real pain. Because of that, some mailmen would make a little tool out of wire with a loop on the end, and use that to fish the mistakenly placed postcard out through the crack of the mailbox. I'm talking like mailboxes that you, drop stuff into, diagonally or vertically. Obviously not like you open the front and you slide it in like American mailboxes. I've heard something similar from a friend of mine at a building management company. It seems they'd sometimes get drunks who locked themselves in the bathroom and fell asleep. So to get them out of there, they'd stick a thin metal tool through the crack of the door to undo the latch. Exactly. All industries have little tools that can easily open things that normally can't be opened. It wouldn't be particularly surprising if the servants of a mansion had something of the sort. Good point. Once you figured out the knack of it, you probably could set the chain from the outside by using a wire. Yeah, we can't be sure that it's impossible. They don't have the red truth, so they're able to be manipulated like this. True. Physically speaking, one couldn't say for sure that there existed absolutely no way to set it on chain to set and unset chain locks from the outside. Chain locks allow for the door to be opened a crack. If you stuck something through the crack, you should be able to manage it easily. It is very natural for them to think that. However, Erica knew better. Though it might be possible in reality, the real truth had already declared that these closed rooms could not have been constructed from the outside. In other words, it was impossible to manipulate the chain lock from the outside. And yet, Erica was guiding their thoughts with the illusion that only the servants could have constructed the closed rooms. With an air of solemnly revealing some crucial point, she steadily steered the situation in the direction she wanted. Every part of her serious face for the last few minutes had been an act. No, to put it in her words, it was a detective technique for tricking suspects. I plan to tell Kraus what I've told you. I'm not saying that all the servants are culprits. However, it's very likely that one of them is a culprit or has been assisting the culprit. We should split them apart and have people with guns keep an eye on them. Ueda and Hideyoshi looked at each other again. What she was saying made sense, and it sounded as though she was calmly smoking out the most suspicious people at this point in time. With their accomplished conversation techniques, Eric was cleverly grasping the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, it's possible to control human nature to this degree. What do you think, everyone? I think you're a miserable witch. But she's at least pretty smart. Despicable as she may be. But that is exactly what makes seeing her losses so satisfying. So, how is it playing on the witch's side? Feels strange. I used to think that the witch's side had such a huge advantage, but now that I'm on that side, I see that that's ridiculous. It's almost like that game where you stick knives in a barrel and try not to stab the mustache guy inside. From the perspective of the human side, was the human arrow go like her? I don't know. It was like trying to shoot at a target he might missed. But from the witch's viewpoint, I mean, it sounds like she was actually, because we got like Erica backstory about her and her ex-boyfriend a while ago. And it kind of sounded like she was. Kind of insufferable. But from the witch's viewpoint, a stray shot might hit and become fatal. The old me played games like that all the time. Yeah, it's almost like Russian roulette. Even so, you believe that I'd eventually notice, stretch those games out to the limit. It may be impudent of me to ask, but just what is it that you noticed, Battler-san? At the very end of your games with the old me. It was a strange question. Even though, in the past, Byakuto had always been the one posing it to Battler. Now that Battler had figured it out, Byakuto was the one asking it to him. Our roles have been completely flipped, haven't they? In the past, only you remembered, only I forgot. But this time, it's the other way around. Only I remember, only you've forgotten. Would you mind telling me what it is? Telling you would be easy, but I don't want to tell you. I'm not trying to be mean. I just want to believe in a miracle for a bit myself. A miracle? Yes, this was the single miraculous seed that Battler left behind. If Byakuto could remember a certain something without being told, that would prove that Byakuto had truly arrived. So he wouldn't tell her. It was Battler's final seed, which existed because he still couldn't abandon his hopes for Byakuto's arrival. If you can't tell me, then I won't ask. If I've displeased you, please forgive me. Don't worry about it. I just never know when to give up. As she watched that sad smile, Byakuto's chest tightened. He was looking at her and seeing the old her. Yes, I must become my former self for his sake. My older sister who gets burned by spiderwebs, and I who don't, must become one. Surely it's more useful to him if I go on a journey to find myself now, than if I simply watch over his game. How do you feel about this game? Do you think you can win? I intend to win. I'll win and end this eternal torture, just like Byakuto wanted. When it ends, what'll happen to the world? Who knows? I wonder. However, that's what we wished for. So no matter what the result is, I'll accept it. What will happen to me? Byakuto was uncertain. Even she was probably no more than a piece in this game. If the game ended, then would she, one who had been born of that game's rules, disappear? The game will probably disappear, but now I completely understand magic, so I'll be able to carry you off the game board. I think that was your wish. My wish? The rest is a secret. I'll be waiting for a miracle for you to remember all of that on your own. After smiling bitterly for just a second, Battler laughed and told her not to worry. Apparently, it was best if she avoided talking to Battler about her previous self. Well then, I'll go check with my opponent for a bit. I can't wait to see what kind of twisted logic that idiot thinks up next. The old Battler-san did a lot of that too. My favorite was the one from the first Twilight of the second game, when he said the culprit killed everyone by feeding them small bombs. The highlights of my dark past. Please forget that ever happened as fast as you can. No, no one will ever forget. Yes, I will try. Valor became a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared into the darkness. Beato kept bowing until he disappeared completely. It's nice to see acknowledged every now and again. To fill in his place, a single gold butterfly appeared and became Beato the Elder. Did you call for me, little sister? Yes. I want to know more about you. And I want to know what the real me is like. I want to become like that. Of course, I also want to know about my future self. Didn't we reveal everything about ourselves to each other for that purpose? However, we did not become one. I cannot understand what we must do to become our single self. What can we do to become one? I have high hopes for the trials of Zepar and Furfur. You mean the miracle of magic given to the victors? I wonder if that magical miracle means becoming one. I'll find my true form. You will fulfill Valor's wishes. Valor will be overjoyed too, so all three of us will have what we want. This is a trial, right? It means we cannot lose to the other two pairs. George-san and Shan-san, Jessica-san and Kana-san. I can only grasp happiness by trampling over them. The conditions apply to all of us. If one of the others succeeds in love, the other two groups, including you, will be trampled over. Why must the scales be so tilted, I wonder? Tilted? Some people will find love, others won't. In that case, you can put those two groups on a scale. However, the scales for our trial have 3 plates, and 2 must lose for 1 to win. That seems horribly skewed. Who knows? It might mean that successful love is worth 2 destroyed loves. You're too insecure, little sister. If you can't put your desire to answer to Valor's expectations before your uncertainty over what happens to the losers, you won't be able to win anything. You're right. I won't give up our victory. I don't like doing this to the others, but there will be no hard feelings between us and them. If I do lose, I'll give my strongest blessings to whichever of the lovers wins. So I'll fight with all my heart and soul, so that I have no lingering regrets, and I'll win that miracle of magic. There actually are some things that I kind of forget about Umineko, that I hope will become more clear as things go on, or maybe I'll revisit an explanation after all said and done. How was it? How did the red and blue shootout over the first Twilight go? We started by testing the waters. Valor seemed pretty eager too. She had just come back from a fierce fight with Valor, where she had gathered information by making demands for the red text. It was the old familiar kind of fight, reminiscent of when the red text had first appeared, or when use of the blue text was first permitted. And the result? First, in all cases, it was the victims themselves that constructed the red rooms. Also, those closed rooms were perfectly preserved until Krause's group broke them open. Also, I confirmed that during this period, all sorts of interference from the outside were impossible. Eric reported this proudly as though it had been a great battle, but Bryn Castell looked bored as she listened. After looking at her blankly for a second, the Delta spoke her opinions frankly. Wait a second. Doesn't that mean this closed room murder was perfect? But, The victims had sealed the closed rooms themselves, and the closed rooms had been preserved until Krause and the others broke them open. And no one had been inside the closed rooms except for the victims. And Krause's group, the ones who had broken the rooms open, were not the culprits. In this way, she had managed to win several little red truths like these. Normally, simply collecting such vital information would have been enough. However, the Master Witch, tired with boredom, had expected a much more flashy, argument-winning victory instead of this bland result. Yeah, however, this time, I don't have the detective's authority, so there's a chance I messed up when examining the corpses. So, if we suppose that a drug that mimics death was used to fool my examination, You mean Puru Puru Pico Puyo? No, not that. It's not impossible for certain well-known drugs, such as insulin, to bring about a temporary state that mimics death. That did not counter that with a red truth. In other words, my blue truth worked. I think we started with a victory. To sum up Erica's report, all she had done was listen to the red truths Ballard wanted her to hear. All the information Ballard wanted out there had been shown, and she hadn't been able to strike at any weak points. She was like a kid who had gone out shopping, then forgotten her job and only bought candy. However, this was all the players on the human side could do. Without the detective proclamation, she could only fight by collecting dull bits of information like that. However, her master had been expecting more than that sort of dull fight. So she tried to give a report energetically to make it seem as though they were in a superior position. But no matter how much she tried, the cold expression of her master remained merciless. Your blue truth worked? If you didn't cut it down, it's probably just because it was too stupid. You call yourself a great detective with reasoning like that? I did try to examine the corpses with care to the best of my abilities. However, I don't have the detective's authority, so we can't be certain. Wait a second, weren't you the one who decided not to make the detective proclamation? Didn't you say you wanted to raise the stakes to make up your disgrace last time? But, well, what's wrong? Are you saying you can't win against Balor without the detective's authority? That's not true, my master. I could easily defeat incompetent like that. I don't think that's a noun. Even without the detective's authority. It's just the style of fighting is a little different from what I used to, and I haven't gotten the hang of it yet. As far as humans go, Erica was quite talented. Her knowledge and powers of memory and insight were ahead of the pack, and it was likely that no human was more well suited as a detective than her. However, no matter how much of an advantage she might have had over people. Is it? I don't think I've seen it used as one before. I guess I have now. Incompetent. Incompetent person. Wow. You don't see that often. That didn't matter in the Witch's game. In the Witch's game, it's either 0 or 100. In other words, everything is either the red truth or it isn't. If a normal human was worth a 10, exceptional power would probably rate a 99. However, it could never be 100. Since it wasn't 100, it couldn't be absolutely certain, so it didn't count as red truth. For example, the examination of the corpses that Erica had been worried over in the fight just now. If she had performed it with the detective's authority, she could have said with 100% certainty whether they were alive or dead. However, without the detective proclamation, it was 99%. There was a 1% chance that she'd made a mistake, and that would turn the foundation of the examination. Erica had gained the detective's authority, and had become the Witch of Truth because Byrne Castell had supplemented her talent of 99 with an additional 1. Simply because Byrne Castell wouldn't give her that 1, in the world of witches, Erica's 99 was treated exactly the same as 0. She couldn't even use her great assistant Delanar without a power of 100. And working under an Erica who'd lost the detective's authority, Delanar's red longsword lost its power. Delanar was also irritated that she couldn't provide full assistance. She tried several times to convince Erica to use the detective proclamation, but Erica had stubbornly refused each time. Maybe Erica isn't cooking anything. Why not just do it? Make that detective proclamation. If you do, you'll be unstoppable. Delanar could even use her red longsword in the Nox Decalogue. Why not do it if you want? No. There was no need for anyone to explain. By now, it was clear that Erica hadn't abandoned the detective proclamation by her own will. When Balor reached the truth during the previous round, this game was already finished. This isn't really the 6th game. It's just a finale so that Balor can have a chance to serve as Game Master at the end. The result was already decided last game. Yeah, pretty much. The games won't continue forever, and I've lost my bet with Byrne. In this game, Balor will prove that he's reached the game's truth, and then Beato's game will be destroyed in a big victory for the human side, and a big victory for Byrne too. Supposedly, but you look unsatisfied for some reason. Yeah, I'm not satisfied. I didn't want such a boring victory. The victory you did want had Beato's game board being torn to bits, and Beato's true, pathetic form exposed, humiliated, and trampled on. But this victory of Balor's isn't quite like that, is it? All this about love and promises. He wants to end the game quietly and let her sleep in peace. That sort of ending would make anyone vomit. I didn't give Balor all that advice so that he could end things like that. I had his little sister turned to scrub meat behind his back. I had his parents and family killed horribly over and over again. That was all the spark desire for revenge against Beato. And now, what kind of ending is this? Have I won? Of course not. Balor's gotten his hands on a victory that neither you or I can stand. I had to withstand a staggering period of boredom just to come all the way out to this backwoods territory, just so that I could see Beatrice lamely, pathetically torn to little bits. I didn't come here to sip from a rotten yogurt fragment like this. Aw, your angry face is wonderful too, Vern. I see, so this is why you wanted to straighten things out for yourself at least once in the end. It's all the fault of this moron piece screwing up all the time in the last game. Because of you, this game board that looked like it'd be fun for the first time in thousands of years, it's all been wasted. Filth, trash, scum. But my apologies, my master. I will definitely bring you a victory, so please forgive me. If you couldn't win with the detective's authority in the last game, how do you expect to defeat Balor now that he's the game master? You don't have a chance at winning even with the detective's authority. So why bother with it? True, if you can't win anyway, then the detective proclamation isn't necessary. The lack will just make your loss all the more certain. And therefore, if you manage to win in this even worse situation, that would be a miracle worthy of me. If and only if you can do that, I'll be able to forgive you. Yes, I will surely show you that miracle. Like, hell you can, scum. All you can do is thoroughly expose your wretched self in a horrible punishment game with your only weapon taken away from you. And through it all, you'll still roll over playfully and beg to keep me entertained, scum. Ooh. Sounds like you're having fun. Am I getting in the way? Here he is, he's back. Gold butterflies gathered in the darkness and took the shape of Balor. Though he had just arrived, he seemed to know that the moon was dark. Ah, Balor. I had a look at your first twilight. Quite impressive closed rooms. I'm sure you're even more talented than Beato. It's just a rehash of the closed rooms Beato made in the past. I'll take that as a compliment aimed at her. Seems your fight with Erica wasn't bad either. Think your serial murders will move along smoothly? Who knows? My role isn't to carry out serial murders. It's to use that process to show you the closed rooms that are impossible without magic, and thereby achieve victory for the witch side and prove that I fully understood this game. Now, there's one more thing. What? To settle things with Erica after that evenly matched duel we acted out last time. Battler. Evenly matched? Renka still noticeably grimaced. Erica averted her eyes and hung her head timidly. I know what you'd like to say. That wasn't a draw. We should have won easily, so it counts as a loss. Hey, it's not polite to eavesdrop. Look at a mirror. It's written all over your faces. No way! Where? Hey, what's going on? If you tell me it's written in ink only morons can't see, then death, super death for you. And the Delta pulled the mirror out of thin air, then looked at it and jumped around angrily. She was apparently pretending to be stupid in her own special way. Erica. What is it? That final fierce attack you and Deliner made in the last game was spectacular. Thanks. What happened to Deliner this time? Are you by yourself? No. I've been waiting here. Deliner had been just standing around in reserve, hiding her presence in the dark shadows. Well, when she can't use a red longsword, Deliner is just useless scum. There's no point in having her around, so she's hanging back. All I can do now is record Lady Erica's reasoning. Why won't you fight with her? Why can't you use that red longsword? Erica's reasoning and your longsword. Those are strong because they work together. Deliner didn't answer. She just glanced at Brennkistel's expression for an instant. However, that glance was the same as a clear answer to Balor now. Balor fully recognized the situation. You're the one who told Eric not to use the detective proclamation. Oh? I don't know what you're talking about. This fight is between me and Erica. We're gonna fight with all we've got. That way, we'll be able to accept it whether we win or lose. There's no need for a mastermind behind the scenes like you. Come now, I'm no mastermind. I'm just a theater goer trying to relieve her boredom. A theater goer is someone who sits quietly in the stands and watches. That's not what we call someone who jeers at the stage and threatens or manipulates the performers. Sorry for being an ill-mannered audience. You might not know it, but I've already paid a huge admission fee to watch this play. Sorry, but I intend to enjoy it until I get my money's worth. If you get the way of the game's progression, I can use my authority as the game master to boot you out of this game. If you want to, go ahead. If you chase me out, then I'll head back with my piece. Erica, this game will be cancelled, and you won't be able to prove that you reached the truth. A theater-goer is an observer. A truth with no observers is the same as an illusion. You need a theater-goer as a witness until Beato's game ends. Our truth only needs to pass between the two of us. If you get in the way any further, I will boot you out by force. Then you can ride around in boredom for a few centuries until you find another way to kill time. Then go ahead and do that. Erica, this game is over. Good work. You were completely useless. You weren't able to overturn the dishonor of your loss, so as promised, I'll throw you to the worst fragment. I'll toss you into the depths of oblivion with the empty popcorn buckets. My master, I will win. I'll win no matter what. So please, let me fight Balor until the end. I don't want to lose and get thrown into the depths of oblivion. You know I want to watch until the end, right? But Balor says he'll toss me out. Hey, what'll you do, Lambda? Well, I realize you've been irritated since the last game, Bren, but calm down a bit. And Balor, don't provoke Bren so much. This kid can't control her emotions sometimes. Shut up. Who can't control her emotions? Brennkistel, who had never showed any expressions at all at one point in time, was now twisting her face into all kinds of displeased and ugly shapes. When Lambda Delta made fun of that, Brennkistel clicked her tongue and looked away. As they say, nothing can stop poison but poison. Apparently, Lambda Delta was the only one who could rein Brennkistel in. Erica, you want to fight Balor. Clear your name and get Bren back into a good mood, right? Yes. Balor, you want to quickly and neatly end this final game, so that you can prove that you found the truth, right? Yeah. This is a face-off between me and Erica. I won't let anyone get in my way, but I won't let anyone get in Erica's way either. But Battler, if both of them wish to fight, then that should be respected. Leave Bryn to me. I'm the only one in the world who can calm that kid when she gets in a bad mood. You're the same sort as her, but at least you can be reasoned with. You shouldn't underestimate me. I just like seeing Bryn grimace. That's why I've taken a liking to this game of yours. If you think I'm easy to handle, you're apt to get burned, okay? It's friendly for now. Planner can't use a red longsword because the detective proclamation hasn't been made. If Erica makes it, she'll regain her power right away, right? Yes. When that happens, forgive me. Erica? What? Make the detective proclamation. No. Do you really think you can beat me as I am now, without the detective's authority? I can win. Lord Battler, Lady Erica is herself a piece. She cannot disobey her master's orders. All she can do is gather the power she has, and fight for survival. And Leonard, your power can't be used at all without the detective proclamation. I need permission before unsheathing the red key. One form of that permission is the detective proclamation. Are there any other ways of getting that permission? But what are you saying? If you're doing this out of pity for me, that's none of your business. Quiet. You're so flimsy by yourself that it's boring. Be quiet, detective who isn't a detective. Yeah. The red key is infinitely similar to the red truth. If and only if I am given a truth, I'm permitted to draw my sword for items that pertain to it. What do you mean by a truth? For example, there are Lady Erica's packing tape seals. Ah, those. Lady Bryn Castell has already acknowledged that those seals are equivalent in value to the red truth. Therefore, I am permitted to draw the red key, at least for truths pertaining to those seals. This caused me a lot of trouble last time, so I had all the sticky packing tape removed from the game board this time around. A splendid move. Erica was proud to be able to call herself the detective, wasn't she? Yes. Though her only goal was to irresponsibly solve riddles, it was a matter of pride for her. Then she must really be suffering now that she can't make that proclamation. Only she could tell you that. Bella took a deep breath, then hung his head and thought for a time. Erica was his enemy. She was the player on the human side, and without her, there would be no game. Don't pity Erica, don't pity Erica. Shouldn't do that. It had been the same with the old Beato. Balor had one-sidedly viewed Beato as an enemy. However, though Beato had thought of him as her opponent, she hadn't considered him an enemy on a personal level. In accordance with the rules, I must fight my rival ruthlessly. However, that doesn't mean I need to hate Erica herself. I won't misunderstand Beato's game. Erica, you're free to choose not to make a detective proclamation. In that case, go and fight with just your power as a human. I've been prepared to do that from the start. However, you have talented allies. Eleanor, Gertrude, and Cornelia. You aren't alone. You have allies. Yeah, but they're unreliable, powerless, and useless scum. Eleanor, just like I was supported by Virgilia and Ronova in the past, Erica needs support as well. I know from repeated experience that playing for the human side is tough. Yes, I will assist her with all the power I possess. Understood. Know that it is our job. And you can't even use the red truth. Erica, I'll give power, not to you, but to your allies. Huh? What do you think you're doing? I'd rather die than receive your pity. 3 people. Eleanor, Gertrude, and Cornelia. Erica, I want you to use 3 rooms worth of those packing tape seals. To fully seal one room, multiple seals would be needed to cover all the doors and windows. If he had said 3 seals, it would only have been possible to fully seal one room at best. So, Battler was generous and limited them by room instead of by seal. Lord Battler. As the game master, I also acknowledge that these seals have the same effect as the red truth. This way, you'll also be able to wield that red longsword in a fight surrounding those. Right? Yes, but are you certain? Winning against Erica when she's less than a detective is hardly a victory. If Erica's upping the stakes, then I should have the right to do the same. I guess he isn't summoning them. He doesn't really need them, I guess. I don't know. I think the last time we saw Virgilia was in episode 5 when Battler, Virgilia, and Delena were having tea, huh? Yeah, I don't think we've seen him. Ooh, what a man. Aren't you lucky, Erica? Now you can use a bit of red without making the detective proclamation and irritating your master. You'll regret this. I'll use these 3 seals and kill you no matter what. Perfect. Come to kill me. Yeah. Though it was only for 3 rooms, it was the red truth that Erica had desperately wanted. Now, she finally had enough leeway to fight as she pleased. She ground her teeth at being pitied by Battler, but her tears were not those of shame. Understood. 3 rooms worth of packing tape seals accepted. Regarding this matter, Should we consider them as being accepted retroactively? Back when Lady Erica received the non-sticky packing tape from Mrs. Kumasawa? Is Kumasawa married? I think... Well, I know she has a kid. We see the kid in episode 4 when Angie goes around for stuff, but I don't know if her husband's still alive at this point in time. I guess it implies yes. Erica had borrowed packing tape from Kumasawa to make seals with. However, Ballard made it so those weren't sticky. If he ruled that there had never been any problem with the stickiness of that packing tape, the transition could be made smoothly. Sure, that's fine. I'll rewrite the tale. The packing tape that Erica received from Kumasawa, sun late at night on the first day was sticky, but there was only enough left to use on 3 rooms. I'll apply that from here on out. Understood. Lady Erica will also retroactively adjust her movements, starting before the discovery of the first twilight, and taking into account that the application for this privilege is now possible. As soon as these changes affect the progression of the game, they will be reported to the game master. When you do it retroactively, even though you know which rooms the crime will occur in, that gives you a pretty big advantage. You won't have to waste tape in other rooms. Seems you've grown quite arrogant since becoming game master. Isn't it fun to give out charity to your pathetic opponents? Quiet, and don't misunderstand. I'm not being arrogant or soft here. Erica, use this weapon and come at me with all you've got. Then I'll crush you with all I've got. So hold your head up high and use those 3. That is all. Butler made to leave the room with a flick of his cape. As he did, he thought he heard Erica let out a strained voice calling him to a stop. What is it? If you have no business with me, I'm going. Make sure you talk with Lenore. Don't listen to those obnoxious witches, whatever they tell you. As long as I'm on this game board, I won't let them do whatever they please. Thank you. Thank you. I'll fight with all I've got. I'll come at you with all my strength, so I'll defeat you no matter what. So, if you do win against me, please crush me with all your strength. Please, don't leave a scrap behind. Understood. And don't you go easy on me. This is the final game. I'm playing to prove to be until that I reach the truth. By now, who wins and who loses doesn't affect that goal. So I just want to accept you as a rival and settle this. In the game, let's suspect each other over everything as enemies. But as fellow players, let's trust each other. That's how this game is supposed to be played. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Butler melted into the darkness, became a cloud of gold butterflies and vanished. Eric remained behind, sobbing. Ooh, just kidding. Butler is messed up. Jeez, you're a dim, stupid man. You totally fell for it and gave you the tape. I, Little Erica, have packing tape. She has the tape. She's unstoppable now. It was hard to imagine that the person who had been sobbing pathetically and this person, now, were the same. That's how vile her face contorted to be. The 2 witches were also cackling with ugly smiles. I totally understand. When you become Game Master, it feels like you become God and you get all sure of yourself. It was the same for you, Lambda. Of course you'd lose after leaving a stupid mistake like walking corpses alone. Stupid Game Masters, stupid mistakes, stupid pride, stupid losses, stupid battles, stupid everything. Stupid losses, stupid battler, stupid everything. Aha, has a nice ring to it. Nice one, my master. Stupid battler, stupid everything, stupid battler, stupid everything. If that stupid battler really thinks Erica's at a disadvantage, then I really pity him. But Detective Proclamation isn't what you need to kill a moron. Death by falling on a piece of tofu? It'd have to be soft tofu, too. Add some gochujang chili paste and you've got a snack that'd go great with some wine. Nonsense. The 3 giggled together. It had all been an act to get the packing tape with the seals from Battler. Even though the packing tape that had tormented him so much in the last game was unusable in this one, he had fallen for Erica's act, and she had gotten what she wanted, though just 3 rooms worth. The illusion that Erica had, an overwhelming disadvantage, was just an act. A trap to trick Battler and make him hand over the packing tape. With this, I can kill Battler perfectly. I figured out those pathetic closed rooms long ago. A perfect closed room? Dumbass. I'll show you a real perfect closed room. And I can almost cry for joy at the fact that you gave me the weapon that'll finish you. My master, Lady Lambda Delta. Thank you so much for going along with this act. It was fun. No need to thank me. Plus, it wasn't an act. Red Castell said something that was probably disturbing, but in her good mood, Erica didn't care a bit. That putting her brains more on, thinking he's done something so noble. I'll make you regret it. Alright, let's use these seals at our leisure. You did great too, Delanor. Seems the Battler trusts you, so he believed every word you've said. Don't tell me your contest is hurting. You little murder doll. No. Donna looked at Erica in a slightly lonely way. Then, after shaking her head slightly, her gaze turned hard, and she looked at the darkness Balor disappeared into. He should have known that this was a no-holds-barred fight. How foolish, Lord Balor. This is, without a doubt, the result of your pride. Mr. Balor, this will be fatal. Ugh. Even Delanor knows. Okay, that is definitely a good place to stop. Let's see. Yeah, all these are still vague. That's fine. Okay, then.